Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So after a lot of thought and a lot of requests, I'm making how to become better on keyboard and mouse for Warzone. I'm gonna keep it simple, as quick as possible. I'm probably gonna be yapping a lot in this video, so bear with me. And yeah, that's basically. I'm gonna cover like sensitivity, DPI, and all that. I'm gonna go over my keybinds, my mouse settings. I'm gonna go over how to engage in like 1v1s, what warm-ups I use and what is good for you, some class setups and like perks you can use, because keyboard and mouse can't use exactly the same guns as controller because of aim assist and all that. And I'm gonna be showing maybe like what peripherals and like how much of a difference a grip, like how you grip your mouse, does. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So starting, like I said, we have DPI and sensitivity, EDPI, and all that very complicated sounding stuff, but I'm here to assure you it is not complicated at all, right? It is very simple. DPI is dot per inch, so that is basically, just think of it as your sensitivity outside the game. So if you're on your desktop, if you're on Windows, if you're on Google Chrome, whatever, even if you're in the menu of COD, or if you're in the buy station menu, that is your effective DPI. So EDPI, like I said, effective DPI in-game is different than the menu and the Windows one. So that's why you have in-game sensitivity, mouse sensitivity, right? In general, rule of thumb is have a DPI from like 800, not below 800. Like 400 is out of the question anymore for most people. I know most people want 400 DPI. I don't know why. Just 800 to like 3200 maybe tops, because like after that it becomes very fast outside of the game. And like in the menus, in the buy station and all that, you might misclick a lot. So I go by 1600 because after a lot of testing and all that from other people, they say that it has the lowest latency for mouse. So I just go off that because it's kind of a middle ground as well, right? You can go in like 2000, like 1700, I don't know, whatever you want, right? I just go by 1600 because it's easier and it's just a middle ground. In-game sensitivity, in general, you just want to know that a very fast or a very slow sensitivity in COD is general, like it's two things that you do not want, right? You do not want a very fast or a very slow sensitivity for the reasons that Warzone specifically is about having reactiveness and actually being able to track people close range, right? Like a fast sensitivity can make you feel that you're snappier, faster movement and all that, but when it comes to like being steady and actually killing people up close or doing micro adjustments, fast sensitivity is out of the question. And unless you have a brain surgeon hand and you can perform like very accurate micro adjustments, which I doubt the average player can do, it's not recommended for me. It's the same scenario with very slow sensitivity, right? So if you're like very slow sensitivity, you're very accurate up close, your tracking is going to be very good. But when it comes to like moving around, like for example, you want to go inside a door, inside a building, go left, go right, like adjust, since you have to move your whole arm instead of like a little bit of your elbow and your wrist, you're gonna get very fatigued very easy. And sometimes if you don't lift your hand in time, you're just gonna get killed because of that single movement. So what I generally like recommend is find an in-between sense that feels snappy and accurate for you. Also, I wouldn't like straight up go and copy the top keyboard and mouse player's sensitivity. You can do it, you can try it, but every person is different. Every person's reaction time is different. Every person's IQ is different. Every person's hand measurements and like how they perceive some movements is different. So I would just take a sensitivity and just try it out and see if you need slower, faster, whatever, right? If you want to come, if you're coming from like a game like Valorant and CS, all that, and you want your exact sensitivity that you had in those games, which I don't recommend at all, because stack FPS and Warzone is just a different ball game at all. But if you want to, just go to online gaming, online like a calculator, and you just put your sensitivity and you just change it from Valorant, CS, whatever, to COD, right? I have 1600 DPI, like I said, and my in-game sensitivity, depending on how I feel, goes from 325 to up to like 4.5 at the top, which is I don't really do anymore. I sit around like 3.5, 3.75. That is what eDPI and sensitivity is, right? So next, I'm gonna show you all my mouse settings, my keybinds, and why I have my settings like that, right? So go into keyboard and mouse. This is my in-game sensitivity, like I said. In general, your multiplier, I would hands down not recommend changing it if you want to be a one-to-one player. Like this defines your ADS and your hipfire sensitivity being the same or different. Some people want a slower ADS speed, which is totally understandable, but you just have to know that if you have that, you have to get adjusted to it and don't change it all that often. This is mainly like a controller setting. A lot of people, because like they want to move faster but they want to aim slower, you can do it, but that's entirely up to you. I just don't recommend it at all. Other than that, if we go to mouse advanced, this is like I said, if you want like a different sensitivity for like a 3x, 4x, 5x, whatever. Here in your ADS sensitivity type, I just go with legacy. Relative is like basically your coefficient with your monitor, the distance you have based on your resolution. I just don't, after MW19 and Warzone 1, I just don't like relative and how it feels. It feels like very slow and sluggish. I just go to legacy because it feels snappier. It might be a little bit faster, but it's just way easier to knowing what I'm doing. You can change it if you're like on 16:9, just change it to 1.78. If you're playing stretch res, just change it to 133. See, this is based on the 16:9. That's all I have to say about that. I don't want to get in the nitty gritty. I just change it, try it, and see what you like most, right? In mouse calibration, you want all of these off. They are just very bad. Mouse XL is just not a good thing to have. In here, this is just my mouse wheel delay because I change my weapons back and forth with my scroll wheel. That's how you YY with YY and weapon swap and all that like fancy stuff. I don't do it because it's fancy. I just like cause it keeps my fingers primed. Note that the higher you go, it's the slowest, and the lower you go, it's gonna be like very fast. So like a micro like flick is gonna change your gun, and it might mess around your gunfights and stuff. Next, my keybinds. My keybinds are kind of like the default ones, except like I have a prone. My prone dive is always on my mouse. My mouse button 4, which is the back one. I just like it there. You can have whatever you want. I think the default one is control or something. Here I have my sprint as control or my mouse wheel 5. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. In the advanced, I just have, instead of sprinting, I have sliding on shift because that's how I just like it. It's just a preference. All these are preferences. You can copy them, you can mess around. That's the good thing about keybinds. You have a whole keyboard, you can do whatever you want with it, right? These are my combat keybinds. Nothing really crazy. Like I said, this is how I change my guns. I throw my melee with like my throwing knife or my combat axe, whatever, with my scroll wheel in. It just feels better, just more instant instead of like clicking G or whatever you have. And what's different here is my armor plate is with E. Other than that, it's pretty... Oh, you always want to have a melee weapon as well. This is like how to move around. Always have this. Like, put it on whatever keybind you feel like comfortable with. Then I'm just gonna go to movement. I recommend, as a keyboard and mouse player and a movement player, just have this sprint assist always on. Have this 0, always these on, everything else off. And other than that, in movement, I don't know why I can't scroll down. Yeah, I can't scroll down now. I don't know why. In combat, you need to have sprint cancels reload off and armor plate behavior apply all, because if you don't, it just press like 1 1 1 1, and you have to keep pressing it over and over again. In mouse movement advanced settings, sorry, slide dive independent, I just like it because it's different. I don't want to be on keyboard and mouse be diving and sliding at the same thing. It's just not the good, because it's just gonna mess up your gunfights a lot. Single tap sprint, sprint door bash, and that's about it. Now moving on, you can either start warming up and like doing some aim trainers. I'm gonna throw some clips of Kovacs. I don't really use aim labs. I used to use aim labs. I just like Kovacs more. You can use aim labs. There's no problem with it. It's both are aim trainers. You do not need to do more than 20 to 30 minutes warm up on aim labs. It's just if you do that more, you're just gonna burn out and tire. And when you go on COD, you're just not gonna be like, locked in. On Kovacs, I use these scenarios. I'm just gonna have some of the stuff playing on the background. Mainly, you just want to focus on your close range strafing and your tracking. You need close range strafing. That's the hardest thing on keyboard and mouse, and that's gonna lead to the point on like how to win 1v1s and what to do and what to not do. What I do for warm-ups is I go into private match. I set it up exactly like I'm going to show you right now. I put some bots, I put some extra health, put some extra points, and put a gun that has like a lot of ammo. For example, the XM4 with 100 mags, 100 rounds. And I just genuinely just try to warm up my wrist, my aim, my everything. Put some music on, chill, shoot some bots, and just warm up in general so you feel primed when you go into the game. Nothing much. Don't look very like into it. This is just a warm-up routine. You just don't need to go all out. Do this for like 15-20 minutes, whatever you feel like it doesn't burn you out. And that's it for the warm-ups, right? So how to win 1v1s and how to like position yourself in general in gunfights. This game on keyboard and mouse it's tough, and I can feel like why people actually have problems with it, especially with like the servers, desync, and all that good stuff that this game has. You genuinely just need to always remember, for me, right? This is, opinions vary. Don't actually go into like 1v1s and don't go into gunfights with multiple people and only thinking about holding down your aim down your ADS or trying to flick and be flashy, because that's a common misconception. Yeah, you can flick, right? You can be like crazy fancy like Symphony does, like Neo does, all that, right? But you have to understand, if you want to be a good player that drops high kills, clear squads, and all that, you need to understand when to engage and when to disengage and when to use aim and when to use movement, right? In general, you want to have a good combination of movement and aim. So if you're like in a 1v2, 1v3, 1v4, whatever, you always need to first of all have a good centering. Never aim down on your feet, like at the feet of people or like the hip. Always try to be above the stomach, chest, and use like different movement mechanics like I've showed before on like my movement guide. You need to engage and disengage in gunfights, right? You need to use cover, you need to use pillars, couches, Dive in a window, dive out of a window, close a door, and bash the door again. In general, you don't want to overthink a gunfight, right? What you need to do is get used to try and mirror the movement of the player. So if some player like strafes left of their screen, you need to like kind of understand you gotta strafe right. Because if you counter strafe, you don't have aim assist, right? So your aim is not going to be on them unless you track them perfectly, and you're gonna lose a lot of gunfights like that. So in general, try to not overdo with movement in gunfights. As a keyboard and mouse player, don't try to do 360s. Don't try to do like YYs and spins and stuff. That doesn't work on mouse and keyboard if you want to be a good mouse and keyboard player. In general, just use audio cues, and stims are not that good, but they can still give you a good advantage. This leads me to like how different guns and different classes work on keyboard and mouse via controller, right? So what perks I use on Rebirth Island in classes is I always use Survivor, Quick Fix, and Tempered. Survivor, you can kind of change it for like Mountaineer, Scavenger if you want to, right? But Quick Fix and Tempered, for me, if you're a solos player, solo, quad, whatever, you need these two perks. First of all, Tempered, because you only have 2 plates instead of 3 plates. And Quick Fix is just Quick Fix. You play it with one hand. So as soon as somebody hurts you more than you're like known to be hurt, like somebody like sees you and you're one shot, right? You immediately take some cover and you start plating. As soon as you start plating, you know that your HP is regenerated. So you can re-peek when somebody's not ready for you to re-peek, right? So that's how you get an advantage of someone. Tempered, it's good, but you can also use no, Tempered. Just use Tempered, now that I think about it. On perk 2, some people use Tracker, right? Tracker is like one of the main benefits of keyboard and mouse, right? Because you throw a smoke, controller players have no aim assist, and you just use Tracker and you kill them, right? But this is mainly for if you're playing ranked, if you're playing like a team game, right? Like if you're playing with friends and people smoke it instead of you, or you're just a more laid back player, Tracker is better for me. Because Quick Fix, if you want to be in and out of gunfight fast and you want to win it, and you're against one more than one player, just use Quick Fix, in my opinion, right? This can vary, like I said. So guns, right? As like unfortunately with keyboard and mouse, you cannot use a lot of these guns with iron sights, right? We know that the visual recoil, the smoke, how some guns move up and down, right, is just not the same. That's why I genuinely, every AR I use, I just use either this or I use the Dobrich. These are the best 2 sights, right? I won't look too crazy into it. You just need something that doesn't have like vertical recoil, not vertical, like horizontal recoil, and you're good. Most of the guns in this game have very manageable recoil, thankfully. For SMGs, right, you will find yourself not be able to use most of the blueprints on this game with iron sights on keyboard and mouse. Unfortunately, most of these guns and blueprints are made for controller because of aim assist, because the iron sights on some of these guns are just horrendous. They're just too big, too bulky, you cannot see what you're shooting, etc. So just have in mind that you have to sacrifice a slot of your gun for a sight, for an optic. I'm going to show you basically what you can do with movement wise, even though I have a movement guide that's very very detailed. In general, you just need to focus on your centering, right? If somebody's here, you don't want to be looking down. You just want to be running, sliding, and looking down, because you have to like micro adjust, and it's going to be bad. Centering is both bad. If your centering is both bad on controller and keyboard and mouse, it's just going to be, you're going to lose way more gunfights than usual. Peeking corners, you can jump slide. You can jump ADS, hold slide. you can slide, hold back, and prone, and you instantly go prone down. Diving, I wouldn't really recommend diving. It's good, but how I'd recommend diving is maneuvering around the map, like hitting like a dolphin dive, like this. Even though it takes like a minute to get up, dolphin diving is better if you just hit a surface and like cancel it, so you're ready and primed to hit it again. This update also added jumping. If you slide on the surface, that's the edge, and hit jump, you go upwards. Let me show you. I can't do it now. Like that. If you hit the edge of a surface and you slide and jump, you can go upwards. Like that. That's very good if you want to peek somebody. If say somebody's like behind here, right? He's hiding. You can just do that. Also, like I said, jumping a lot on this game is kind of like mid. In a gunfight, you only need to jump once. Like maybe slide and jump once. Don't overdo it. It's not jump shotting like the old CODs. What you can do is slide and just jump the other way so that person can't really hit you. Other than that, that's the basic of the movement you can do in this game. Not really that crazy. Like I said, you can skate as well. You can hit 2 slides in a row instead of like 1. You can jump, slide, and hit a jump. You can slide backwards, slide forward, slide to the side. That's all basic Omni movement. You don't need like a further explanation on that. If you want any like further explanation of movement, you can just go to my movement guide and I have everything in there. Next thing is equipment and whatever you have in your disposal. You don't need to spend an absurd amount of money to get a good mouse and a good keyboard. Of course, you can start out with like something very cheap, like a Razer, like a Logitech that's around 50 bucks. A good mechanical keyboard will always be good no matter what you play. You don't need anything high-end like a Wooting. I personally use most of my mouse pads I use are from Wallhack. I have a referral code if you want to use it and support the channel. It's called Meishu. It gives you 10% off. There's glass pads. I've used multiple glass pads. I've used glass pads for years. It's just more focused on raw aim. It will improve you a lot, but it will never be as good as cloth, of course. You can have a little mini training arc, if you will, on a glass pad and then go back to cloth, and you will already see that you're very, very, very better on cloth after the glass pad. Cloth pads, there's speed pads, there are mud pads, there are a lot of different pads. Generally just find a pad that you just like the surface. It has a good, decent stopping power. Make sure you just cleaning it properly, like after like 3-4 months. If you're sweaty, if it's summer, just give it a good like wash. Don't overdo it. Just put some normal like decent soap, body soap, like whatever. Clean it up. Make sure your skates are always changed. They're not really like run through. You can find multiple skates. There's so many different skates. On cloth path, it doesn't really matter. It's all personal preference, right? Like I said, you don't need to spend an absurd amount of money to be good or have good equipment that will yield results. Okay. Something else is how you grip your mouse, right? There is palm grip. I do palm grip like mostly because it's a neutral grip. Like I said, there is claw grip, which is your fingers are like a claw. There is fingertip, where your mouse, your palm is not hitting the mouse at all. These are like the basic 3 I know about. I don't really give weight to them because that's just pick up the mouse, see what really feels good for you, and just stick with it. You don't need to be claw because your favorite streamer or your favorite player plays claw. That is just basic human anatomy. Just pick up the mouse however it feels good, just stick with that. I've seen some absurd different variations of grips, and it works for people, but that doesn't mean it will work for you. Just stay whatever you feel is comfortable. You don't want to be playing and being uncomfortable. So that basically sums up the whole guide. Key points that we need to recap is find a good DPI and a sensitivity that you feel comfortable with, that you feel like you don't lose a lot of aiming, your micro flicks and all that is good. Don't change your sensitivity every week, every day. Keep it for 2 to 4 weeks that you know that you've played enough with. Experiment with different settings, different keybinds. Go into private matches, go into plunder, go into solos, casuals, and don't be afraid to experiment with things. You never know what something might feel better if you don't try it, of course. But don't make it an everyday thing. Like I said, don't make it a habit of changing your stuff, changing your setup, changing everything all the time, because you're not going to be consistent. Also, if you're feeling like not very, like you have mental fog, you don't feel good that day, you have fatigue, your arm might be hurting a bit, just know that you're going to be underperforming. You're not going to be as good as you are normally. But don't let that stop you from playing keyboard and mouse, of enjoying this input. This input will always feel more rewarding, more challenging than controller. Controller is always still the best bet if you want to be the best in the world. Keyboard and mouse has some good benefits, but it mostly has disadvantages, unfortunately, for this game. And being good at keyboard and mouse just makes you like a different player, because not a lot of us exist anymore, especially people that drop high kills, good clips, etc, etc. Other than that, like I said, find your good settings. Practice makes perfect. Don't overthink it. Don't think that overnight you're gonna become the best. Keep watching videos, keep improving. VOD review, like clip yourself even if you don't do something good. If you died and you think you should have not died, this game is not the best. It doesn't have the best servers, the best hit reg, but if you think that you could improve something, always have a video, always look back at it and say like, okay, truthfully, I messed up here, I messed up there, I underflicked, I overflicked, etc, etc. So that's it. Let me know what you want in the comments as videos, and that's it. Leave a like, subscribe, and peace out.